We work hard so you can get hard. That's a lot.
Woo! I'm sure that was consensual.
It was fucking Carl!
Yeah, we'll move on. I think we talked a bit about that. So we're going to talk now about who we think is going to be the worst in the conference, Eastern and Western next season. Who was the worst in the West this year? Was it Houston?
Houston was the worst. Houston
And
was the
then
worst. And
East,
then
was it Detroit or
Magic.
Orlando?
Magic.
Orlando, okay. So this year, I think the worst in the West will be the San Antonio Spurs.
The San Antonio Spurs. You know, I didn't think of them as much, but yeah, definitely they could. Certainly have the potential to not be good.
I mean, they've got a lot of young guys on that team right now. I don't really know who's gonna, keep them afloat.
Right. I mean, a lot of Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell. I don't know what guard. Who's their point?
They have Josh Primo.
Is Josh Primo their point guard now? Like their starting point guard? Who's their starting point guard? Certainly not Lonnie Walker. Fuck no, it's not. No, Lonnie Walker's not even on the Spurs anymore.
Yeah, he's not on the team anymore.
Him or who's the Trey Jones? Trey Jones is still on the team, I think.
Trey Jones? Oh yeah. Okay, so they got him.
I'd say Josh.
Yeah, so I mean,
over him.
Like, who's on this team that's going to lead you to wins next year?
Keldon Johnson will probably be the leading scorer for this team. Podol's still there, who's a solid center, one of the most underrated centers in the league.
Yeah,
he's still there. He's still going to hold it down. I do have my worst team. I think it's going to be the same. I think it's going to be the Rockets. I do have enough confidence that Coach Pop will coach them into more wins than the Rockets will win, because they did lose Wood, who was their leading scorer for that team. And they'll probably lose Gordon throughout the year, whether it's a buyout or somebody will trade a contract to get Eric Gordon. That's been talked about a lot. They lack of a leader. Jabari's a nice piece, but I don't think, from what I've seen, he's a very off-ball type, very DeAndre Hunter like he can score 20 points a game. You just need a good playmaker and a good well-built offense for him to score that 20 points a game. It's going to be leaning on the growth of Jalen Green, and we're still up in the air about KPJ. We're not sure what he's going to do. It was a very disappointing season. We'll see what he's gonna do. But Jalen Green, it's kind of built off the growth of him, and I think even if he grows into what they want him to be, I don't see them winning more games than the Thunder or the Spurs.
Yeah, I do think the Rockets are going to be better this year than they were last year. I understand they lost Christian Wood. That's a huge loss. But in terms of locker room, it's a big positive because he wasn't great there. And it sounds like he's going to be the sixth man for the Mavericks anyways. So turns out maybe people are overvaluing Christian Wood. Who knows?
Yeah.
KPJ, I'm right on that with you. I think he's a huge question mark right now. But I have a ton of confidence in Jalen Green. He looked awesome in like the last 50 some games last year.
Yeah.
And, did he make first team All NBA from that?
He first rookie. First team
that's
rookie.
what I mean.
I think so.
First team rookie, yeah.
Because it was Cade and him, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, I got a ton of confidence that him and Jabari Smith are like the building blocks for this team right now. And they got to find that playmaker. I would love to see Kevin Porter, do something this year, but there's a great chance that this is like his last year with the Houston Rockets.
Yeah, and honestly, this is probably one of his last years as a major role in the NBA if he can't make it work with the Rockets. And I don't see any other team, because this is the opportunity. This is where he had the biggest stage, and everyone saw. So the Cavaliers, we understood getting traded, locker room issues, whatever. But this is kind of where he had to make it work. And if it didn't work here, I don't know where it would work. But it's hard to come back. They were 30th in turnovers, 30th. They were the worst defense in the league, worst in free throw percentage. So we're just gonna have to see where that goes, the Rockets. But how about the East? Who's gonna be the worst in the East? If you say my Magic, I swear to God. No, seriously, I swear to God. Don't do it.
The worst team in the East, I think, is going to be the Detroit Pistons.
Ooh, we agree. I also think it's going to be them.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't really add any guys this year that's going to help them win this year. I think they did a great job in building for the future. But, I think it's going to be some gradual growth this year, and they're still going to lose a lot of games.
Right. I mean, Jaden Ivey, great pick, but the insertion of Jaden Ivey will change what offense they already had. So I think that's a huge deal. Plus, they lost Jeremy Grant. Much like the same thing. He was the leading scorer. He took the most possessions. That's going to change. And they don't really have anyone to fill that. I mean, aside from Cade and Sadiq will just take a bigger role. But however, they don't have another person that they can just insert and be like, all right, take out the same plays as him. So it's all going to change because Jaden Ivey's a guard, so it's certainly going to change that way. They're
and I like the few guys that they have.
Oh,
but
I do.
They're all like crazy young.
Yeah, too young, and that's another reason I have is too young. They still have a lot to grow. Bagley too. They resigned. He's going to come back, and they didn't really put him into their offense, so they have to fit him in now because they kind of traded Grant, and now he's going to take over Grant's role. So he's in the starting lineup too, and they still have a lack of a good center. I don't have faith in Isaiah Stewart. Kelly Olynyk is Kelly Olynyk. They got Noel, but he's not good enough. So like that's their.
Well, they drafted Jalen Durant. I thought that's their guy. See. So I mean, very young, obviously a rookie, but that's who they chose to take a bet on, and I think like he's certainly a guy worth taking a shot at.
Oh, definitely, and I am impressed with Jalen Durant. I'm really glad they got him, but he's not going to be. I don't think he's going to be playing heavy minutes till later in the season. They're probably going to have to play through Noel and Olynyk, and they're going to realize
like this season. It doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not going to help them for this season.
Yeah,
to a point where he's going to like win them games.
For sure.
Down the road could be a great pick though.
For sure. Be great for them to get another number one overall pick. That'd be pretty insane. The Pistons deserve it. If there's a franchise, the Pistons deserve it.
If they could get the number one pick, they would get Victor Wembanyama. Then you've got Wembanyama and Cade Cunningham together, which is like a 2K player's dream.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Jaden Ivey. That's crazy. But that would be exciting. Sure.
Yeah, already just having Cade and Jaden Ivey and Jalen Durant's a pretty solid trio, and then you're gonna have a great pick again next year. But that's what you have to do when you're one of these bad teams. You just have to like build these like great draft picks over the first couple of years when your young players can sustain some losing, and you're paying them millions of dollars and like, it's fine, we're building up, and then eventually you gotta win some games, but they're pulling it together. But that's a wrap for us, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already. We love talking about basketball, and you love listening to us, so it's a match made in heaven, I think.